On Thursday, at Donald Trump's request, of course, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth held a press conference where he was supposed to prove that all of the leaked reports about how we didn't destroy Iran's uranium, we didn't destroy their centrifuges, all of that was totally fake. And Hegseth came out there at 8 a.m. Eastern Thursday morning to prove once and for all that we completely destroyed Iran's nuclear capabilities. I don't even need to tell you how it ends because you all know how it ends because Hegseth didn't prove anything. He spent the entire time attacking the press instead of trying to show us, satellite imagery or any kind of readings or intelligence that actually showed that they did what they claimed versus what was reported. So, in other words, the reports have basically been confirmed. We, or the Trump administration, I should say, did not destroy any of their intended targets. The mission was, of course, a failure. Same as every single thing we have seen from this administration. They are not good at things. I can't even say they're not good at the military. They're not good at the economy. They're not good at literally anything. We are being run by the dumbest people in the country, and Pete Hegseth once again proved that during this press briefing. Because as I said, rather than proving any of the points he intended to prove, he snapped at one of his former Fox News colleagues. And let's never forget that Pete Hegseth came to the Pentagon from Fox News. He wasn't even one of the good Fox News people. Not that any of them are good, but I mean popular. Like, he was a weekend 5 a.m. host. That's how crappy this guy was on Fox. Couldn't even make the prime time. Couldn't even make it to a weekday. They stuck him in the early morning and the weekend hours when nobody's awake. And now he's running the Pentagon into the ground, and he attacked one of his own Fox News colleagues. Here's how that went down. Fox News Pentagon reporter Jennifer Griffin, oddly specific job title, right? Like, not Fox News Washington correspondent or like Fox News Pentagon report. Like, Jesus, could we get any more specific? Anyway, Jennifer Griffin asks, photos that showed more than a dozen trucks there 2 days in advance, are you certain none of that highly enriched uranium was moved? Which, of course, is what we know to have happened. In fact, we know it to have happened because this past Sunday on Meet the Press, as I discussed earlier in the week, J.D. Vance actually admitted that, it's likely that Donald Trump's posts on Truth Social alerting everybody to what we were going to do gave Iran the time to move the stuff. So, we know that happened and the administration knows it happened. Jennifer Griffin is asking that question and Pete Hegseth frickin' loses it, man. Pete Hegseth responds saying, quote, "Of course, we're watching every single aspect. But Jennifer, you've been about the worst. The one who misrepresents the most intentionally what the president says." Right there. That's how you know you've lost. That's how you know you've been busted in your lies, and that's how you know you've been backed into a corner. His answer to the actual question is, we're watching every aspect, and then, boo, fuck you, I hate you, you piece of crap. That's not a valid argument. Those are not facts or statistics. You became overrun with your emotions and decided to attack this woman for doing what she was called on to do, which was to ask a question. And Pete Hegseth could not control himself, and he broke down like a baby. That is what he is. We have a baby running the friggin' Pentagon, folks. If this man cannot control himself in a press briefing, how can we trust him to have control of all the weapons of the country? Furthermore, doesn't this outburst towards this woman, this immediate shift in personality from calm, reserved Secretary of Defense to I want to kill you, doesn't that kind of seem on par for him based on the stories we know about Hegseth before he came into office? The attacks on his own family members? Doesn't that seem like the kind of guy that if this were happening behind closed doors, he probably would have hit her? Because to me it does. And it seems to validate all of the reporting about Hegseth's violent temper that we heard before this lunatic was confirmed. Thanks for watching, everybody, and if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. We got fresh content every day for you. And if you want to follow us across social media, make sure you check out all of the social links that we have posted in the description of this video.